Hello, hello, and welcome back to the UpSet podcast. We're so happy that you tuned in this Sunday. And when I say we're, I'm talking about the most stupendous, I like stupendous crew in all the land. What's up, guys?
Amen.
Happy
Amen.
Sunday.
Hello.
Happy Sunday. Happy New Year. First
Right.
Sunday. No,
Mhm.
Yeah.
second Sunday of the New Year.
People are
Second
still saying Happy New Year.
year.
Still young, still fresh.
Yeah, when
And
does that end? Because somebody
we're
tell me
all,
when
February.
does that end?
yeah, at the end of
February.
I was about to
January.
say, yeah, thank you. I knew you
Yeah.
could say it
Okay.
beyond January. Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
you get to February, it's Black History Month, and that's all the it's like, but we want to say Happy New Year live to our
Mhm.
viewing audience out there. Thanks for tuning in. We've missed interacting with you live, and so we're excited about being able to do that this evening. Go ahead and share so others can interact with us as well. But thank you for tuning in. All right, guys. So, how have your New Year's been shaping up so far, and what's been sticking out in the news for you?
Something I saw on Friday, very disturbing. So, an elementary school student, 6 years
Ah,
old, in Newport News,
yeah,
Virginia,
I did see that.
shot a teacher.
Yeah.
Now,
Intentionally. Yeah.
intentionally during an
Six.
altercation. Now, I'm grateful that the teacher is still alive, but that's just
That's
how does a
tragic.
6-year-old?
Mm.
I can't wrap my mind around it.
6 years old.
6-year-old.
Yeah.
And how did he have access to the gun? Brought it from home.
Oh, you had to.
Ugh,
What's that? First grade? Preschool?
First grade.
grade?
first
grade.
grade.
Wow.
Mm.
Ugh,
Wow.
that's sobering.
Uh,
I don't even know what to
it
say
is.
about that.
Hey, I see Rodney Grissom on. We were
Pastor
praying for him the other
Grissom.
day.
Hey, Rodney.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rodney, we've been praying for you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Just making
Yeah,
sure
good to
everybody
see
know.
you back.
I think
Mhm.
my thing is this McCarthy thing, man. I mean, how
Mm.
many times do you need to vote before you get somebody in? I mean,
Yeah. And how low do you have to go, right, to get the
yeah,
votes?
right. I think
Mhm,
that
mhm.
was one of them, and one of my I don't want to call it favorite subjects, but something that I keep
Damar
watching
Hamlin?
is no, but
Mm.
I hear about that.
Oh,
It's how Ukraine is holding up so well.
yes.
Mm.
We've been praying for Ukraine. That's
Yep,
why.
yep,
Yeah.
holding up so well. I know Chuck is ready to say something concerning how
Oh
we're
no,
backing them, but
no, no, no.
I've been backing
I,
them from day one. Like, let's go, let's go.
right.
David always wins. That's how I look at it.
Amen.
David
Well,
always.
the only thing I'll say about Ukraine, the Ukraine war or conflict,
Hmm.
whatever you want to call it, and we're not going to do it here, but read your history. Most recent, go back to 2014,
Hmm.
and then go from there up to now, and also read the history of NATO.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
You'll get a little different perspective,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
on the war. While I'll agree that the Ukrainian people need help, I'm not so keen on providing them with weapons that will
Right,
kill people.
right.
Mm.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with
I'm
it.
for humanitarian aid
Mhm.
and all of that, but to say we're going to send 20 more rocket launchers, yay! What's so thrilling about that? Because those
Yeah,
rockets are going to hit somebody
yeah.
Yeah, I don't
and
know
kill
about
them.
that, Chuck, because I mean the children of Israel, they destroyed enemies that were against them. I mean, this Russian Putin just comes out of nowhere
Yeah.
to,
So should we? So should we nuke Russia?
I mean,
Yes.
I think we're helping people defend themselves. I don't see how that can be a wrong thing because they have to defend themselves. If not, they'll just be annihilated and murdered.
Well, I think nukes are just bad anyway, because
Right.
we said that about World War II. In order to stop the war, we sent 2 nuclear weapons to Japan and killed over 200,000 people. I find a problem with that.
Mm,
And then to later find out that we didn't have to drop those bombs to stop the war.
Right.
But in the
Right.
meantime, there are over 1,000 Japanese families who've lost loved ones because someone far away made a decision that we should drop bombs on countries for military purposes. And
This
kill
sounds like a
innocent
show,
lives.
guys. This sounds like a show.
I was about to
Right,
say that's not a
right.
good thing. I agree with that.
I'm
but
sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm looking at
No,
all these
no, it's-
Ukrainians dying
No.
too, and they're raping their women, and they're
Absolutely.
doing some
Right.
horrific,
Yeah, that's true.
horrific things
Yeah.
against
true.
them. These children are they're blowing up hospitals, you know,
Yeah.
where
Where
people are
people get
dying.
hurt.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if standing by and just saying we'll give you some food, how is that going to help somebody when they're dying? You know, so
They
I just
really
Yeah,
look
we
at
need to do a show on it because
I told you
while
Chuck was
I
coming.
agree,
I
I'll
told
agree
Chuck
with you
was
in
coming.
part, but there's another part that we need to consider.
I
As,
understand.
and the
Write
reason I
this
say that
down. No
is
filter.
as Christ-centered people, there's another perspective we need to consider. That's all.
I told y'all I shouldn't have said nothing.
Yeah.
What?
Chuck
No, this
was-
is good dialogue. Good
as
dialogue.
soon as Chuck get his lips like this, you know he coming. You know he
Like,
coming.
oh,
It's so
no,
good
I-
to see our friends here. Everybody's wishing us a happy new year. It's great to see you guys.
Yeah.
Your names pop up on the screen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Happy New
Be
Year.
back. Now, Marlene, you mentioned DeMar Hamlin's
Yeah,
room.
DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
quite
so
a story.
thankful for God sparing that young man. I
Yep.
didn't even know him at first, but just hearing his story and his heart and his relationship with his parents, it just really moved me. And seeing what happened to him, I'm just glad that he's still here with us and doing well. So
Mhm.
I just want to thank God for healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely one of those unifying moments across
Mhm.
America. Like you said, I didn't know if I don't watch football like that.
Right,
so
right.
I'm familiar with him, but just hearing it, the compassion that just seemed to come from everywhere.
Mhm.
Seeing it though was impactful. Seeing it happen,
Mm.
That's just how fragile that's. People don't realize. Someone was saying every time they go out on the field, it could be a tragedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the risk.
That's one of the reasons why they're paid so handsomely. Is because of that risk level, but that's a whole nother story too.
Some people could
and
say
even
it's,
if
it's exploitation and
Right.
it's a
Mhm.
business.
Yeah,
Right.
that's part of it
Right.
too.
And I'm conflicted because I'm a football fan. I played football when I was younger, and I'm
Now,
conflicted.
is that
I
good
like
to
it.
do, Chuck? Yeah, is that
Mm.
good to do, knowing that
What's
it's
that?
so violent? Is
No,
that
it's
a good
not.
thing to do?
At the bottom, I was just going to say, I'm conflicted. I'll sit and watch the Eagles play, and I see hits, and I see people get hurt, but while I enjoy the sport, I also recognize it's an extremely physical
Dangerous.
and
Physical.
dangerous sport.
Aggressive, yeah, it's
Physical.
aggressive.
I mean, I like NASCAR. Guys riding around in an oval at 200 miles an hour. Yeah, that's crazy dangerous. In fact,
Yeah.
one of my favorite drivers died because he hit the wall 200 miles an hour.
Right.
Mhm.
So, there's, there's a give and
Yeah.
take on it.
Yeah.
Because we like it, we shouldn't acknowledge the fact that it is
Yeah.
dangerous. One thing, and I thought about this when the story broke, and I remember when I played football, my coach, we were very young, but like junior high school age, and he told us, because after each game we felt terrible. We felt like somebody ripped our bodies apart because of all the hits.
Right.
And he had to teach us how to give a hit and how to take a hit
Right.
so that it wouldn't like obliterate your opponent. So these are professionals and they know how to do that. They know how to do that. It's still dangerous, but they also know how to keep it, in perspective
That's part of
so
the
that
training.
they, right. And the refs are out there. They see penalties. If they see unnecessary roughness or, a belligerent hit or something like that, they'll call it. But so it's kind of a bittersweet thing with football.
Right.
It
It
is.
turns you into a man. Yeah. Come on.
It could tell you into a broken man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
punch-
we get a
punch-
lot of patience. Yeah, old people used to play basketball, backs.
Yeah, sports. Yeah.
Basketball, football, backs tore up, knees tore up.
She said,
It
"Suck
is.
it up." That's how we feel. Like, come on, get out there, keep going. I hear people when they're watching games, and I'm like, "This is scary." Like the things that we're yelling at the TV. Come on, get him.
Yeah. So where do you think Tally is right now?
Oh yeah. We're not going to talk about that. Go
Matter of fact,
Eagles.
no, let's go ahead and send the group. Let's send everybody Tally's phone number. Let everybody text him at one time. No. And there's so much we can unpack out of this story, because there's some people who said that the game should not have ended.
Oh
Some
my
people,
goodness.
could you imagine that? And some people say, we should have gone on with the game.
Oh my word. That's just no
So there's
comparison.
so much to unpack out of that.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to do a show on sports now. I mean, listen, some of these things kind of leave us out there. All right, guys. Well, we had such a great time discussing goals last week that we felt like we need a little bit more time, and now that we're live, we want to hear from some of you out there about how you're processing your goals. I mean, this is your 1 week report card. So Pat, before we turn it over to you, I kind of want people to grade themselves so far in the year, 1 to 10. Where are you with achieving your goals? Like, if you're doing really well with achieving the goals you set for this year, let's give yourself a 10. 1, you haven't even started, or maybe 0, you haven't even started, and then wherever you fall in between. I'm anxious to see where our listeners, our viewers are right now.
I was just about to put one in for myself.
Go ahead. I was gonna say we can start with us.
Nope, I ain't starting with me.
No, I haven't started any goals.
I like that. Tiffany says too early to call. That running start week.
Hey, Tiff.
So far, and I talked about it last time. Actually, it was in our worship. What did you say? What did he say?
I'm sorry, -2.
That's the weather where he is.
Yeah, I haven't started. Dr. Lucas says she hasn't even started. So yeah, see, but that's the thing about goals and habits. You can start anytime. So
yes, and that's the deep part of it. People still talk putting in the chat. But one of the things that I thought was great about last week when we all came together was the accountability factor. Just to be able to discuss it and talk about it together gives you the opportunity of setting your goals. And we talked a lot about goals. And what are really goals? Goals are really setting up the desired end to some things, right? For you to be able to look at it. Sometimes we were looking at where I want to be in 2 weeks. Where do I want to be in 6 months? Where is it that I'd like to be in a year? And so those are, it's good for us to set up these goals. And what is it that I want? Even if you don't set up a time frame, at least it's a place to where you want to be.
Working towards, yeah.
Right, working towards it. Where habits is a little bit different. Habits is something, and I was looking it up. It's a repetitive behavior that you do in order to get the goals, to get to the goals. Like that is easy to set goals, y'all.
Oh yeah, really easy.
It's easy to set goals. The next part of it is it's habit forming. Yeah. What can we do? So I think what we'd like to do is, and we can start off talking about our goals, etc. Those who are out there in the internet land. But I think I wanted to make sure that we started to talk about habits and how to form good habits, how to get rid of the bad habits. And as we move forward, there's one thing that I say, sometimes we're so used to our bad habits that our bad habits seem good.
Yeah, because we're doing it on a regular basis and we give ourselves credit for that.
Oh, yeah. And might give credit and kudos for being so comfortable in something that we're so used to. So I know you put it out there already and asked everybody how they were doing with their goals. I want to start off by asking the crew how are you doing with your goals? Where you are with your goals? I'll be last, please. So
you should go first.
Maybe I should.
I can start, but I wanted to bring up something because I was looking at Tiffany's comment that most of her goals are carrying over from last year, and a lot of times we do find ourselves doing that, just carrying over because you didn't get to it for some reason or another. But even with that, asking myself, okay, I wanted this last year, but what prevented me from getting it done last year? And what am I going to do differently to get it done this year. I mean, these are conversations I had to have with myself. Like, this was on my list last year. It's still on my list this year. So now what's going to be different? And but just to answer your question, I think I'm doing pretty well with my goals because I've set up some good habits. And for me, and I know we're going to talk about this a little bit more, part of doing that is tracking myself.
Okay.
Because I realize, everybody comes up with their system for success. I realize for me, tracking works because I'm a box checker. Like I'm the type of person that puts my to-do list and I like to see them all checked off at the end of the day. Right. So if I'm tracking my goals, I'm holding myself accountable and I have to write each day
and that's
what
a good
I've done
thing.
towards the goal. Yeah, because if not, it's going to motivate me to do better the next day, or I'm going to have that come to Jesus moment, so I can't get away from it because it's something that I'm tracking. So I think I'm doing pretty well. And we're hoping that continues. Wow.
She said she talked about tracking everybody, but she didn't tell us what that goal was. But it's okay. It's all right. We'll keep following. We'll keep following you and see what's going on. No. But I like that because some people like to track, like you said. Some people don't want to track. And I think that if you don't track, you're not
get off track.
Right. That's right.
GP, write that down real quick. That sounded like a GP saying.
It was a GP moment.
It was a GP moment right there. Right.
I will give an example, Pat, since you said, one of my goals, I did share it last week, was to read 6 books this year.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I said to myself, in order to get this done, I'm going to read every day. You know what I mean? I didn't say I'm going to read 2 chapters, 3 chapters, which is good to do if you can. Right. But I said I'm going to read every day. And so I've created a little spot in my planner that says, read today. So I have to check off whether I've done that. I don't like to leave boxes unchecked, but because I put that there every day, I make myself read,
and that's good.
There.
That's good. Yeah. And that's the reason why I wanted to know what the goal, what the habit was to it, because sometimes we don't see how we can make the connection, how the connection is really done.
Right.
Because if you came out and said, hey, I'm doing everything I said I need to do, the next person who's setting up their short-term goals is saying, I wonder how she did it. And like I was talking about, I was saying last week, the accountability factor, just to hear you say, I need my list. There's someone that's listening now that says, okay, you know what? I need to set up a list so this way I can get where it is that I need to go. So that's pretty good. How many pages did you read?
And that's the thing, once you start doing something consistent, it motivates you to do it more. So whereas I start off reading 2 or 3 chapters. No, I like to read. This is not a struggle for me, but I realize that life can get so busy that even the things you enjoy get put on the back burner. So it was an easy thing for me to do, but I realized unless I make myself do it, I could easily just not. And
That's
so,
isn't it like if you read 10 pages a day or something, you can do like so many books like throughout the year. If you just do 10 pages a day, seems like I remember something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I don't want to, I'm looking at Tiffany Brissett's, when she was talking about one reason that she didn't finish school was because she traveled too much. And I know she laughed about it.
That was her other goal.
Yeah.
She didn't balance her goals out, right?
I know we were talking about this on the green room, and I might be going further ahead of where I am, but we were talking about 5 hobby habits or something that we were talking about. So you guys help me with that real quick. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I wanted Tiffany to hear that, because there's some way to work out, the splits between your habits and goals. Go ahead.
Well, you wanted to talk about the hobbies?
Yeah. Because one of the things she likes to do is to travel.
Which could be considered a hobby, right?
Right. But then again, it's hurting her master's degree, or one set. So go ahead. Go with the 5, and then we could talk about that, and then we'll jump in.
So, you talked about what a habit is. So a hobby is pretty much an activity that you do regularly in your leisure time for pleasure. So it's supposed to be something that you actually enjoy just for fun. But I came across this meme, or I guess it's a meme, that it says you only need 5 hobbies. And I want to know what you guys think about this.
Wait, before you do that, let's ask everybody in the chat to put up their hobbies.
Okay, yes. All right.
Let's
Yeah.
do
Let's
that
hear some
first.
of your hobbies.
Let's
Let's hear
get
some of your hobbies. That's a
their
good one.
hobbies. Let's see what some of the
Yeah.
hobbies are. Go ahead, Tiffany. We're waiting on you. Rochelle, we're waiting on you. Come on, Biggie's mom,
Well,
which is Eleanor. We're waiting on you. We want to know what are some of your hobbies. What are some
But
of your hobbies?
while we're waiting for that to come in, I want to congratulate Treasure Roger Smith, who said that she completed her financial savings goal in 2021.
Awesome.
So that's pretty good.
Nice.
And now she
Okay.
moved on to 2023,
Awesome.
some spiritual things. So that's great. We want to celebrate the
Okay, hold
wins.
on.
That's
What was her name? Treasure? Hold
Treasure.
on. Treasure. Why
She's
would
living out her name.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now
Let me
she
give
has
you my
some treasure.
let me give you my Cash App, Treasure, so that we can make sure we work this out.
Okay,
Doctor,
so
okay.
Dr.
Reading and
D
cooking.
says reading and cooking.
Good.
Okay,
Reading,
that's great.
as long as it's not at the same time. I think
And
Well,
we
you
can
have to
come
read the
over,
rest
Dr.
of it.
D, all that good cooking. That's wonderful.
yeah. I think that's good. Come on, Tiffany. Come on, you all. I was waiting on you all to go for a hobby. If not, I guess we could break.
But we
in
can still,
between.
as we're talking about the
ahead.
different types, we can see how they match up with
All right,
it. Because
let's
um,
go. Yes.
reading, pool. Oh, I'm sorry. Reading, pool, racquetball,
Eating.
eating.
I'm with you, Pastor Grissom. I love that eating. Yes.
And
Rodney
then
said,
Mike Williams said reading, walking, bowling. Yes, that's
Okay.
a good one.
okay.
Baking and traveling.
Mhm.
Rita.
Oh, Rita can bake, y'all. Rita can bake.
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right. Jillian said learning a new language. That's great.
That
Oh,
is.
This ties into what I'm about to share.
Right. Treasure said
Um,
planting.
Planting
Mhm.
and reading. I see readings there a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Michelle
good.
says designing, writing, acting.
Okay.
Acting.
Nice.
Okay.
All
Acting
right.
like acting like what?
Reading.
Acting like what, Michelle?
Jocelyn, who's Jocelyn? She says crocheting and crafting with her cricket. People are really using these this cricket, right? They're doing that, creating some great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony said reading, exercise. I always get so jealous when people say exercise is a hobby. I wish I
Yeah.
considered it that.
So
a
we
good
could
hobby.
love it, right?
I wish I considered it a hobby. Sister Barbara said sewing and decorating. Very
Oh,
nice.
that's
Nice.
unfair. That's unfair.
I
If you
love
know-
that decorating. That's
If you
nice.
know her, sewing is like nothing for her.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
see, she enjoys it and
but
she
you're
does it in
right.
her leisure
You're right.
time, so it fits
You're
the
right.
description.
you're right.
So thank you guys for sharing. Those were cool to listen
Yep.
to. But there's an author who said you only need 5 hobbies. And we want to know what you guys think about this. 1 to make you money, 1 to keep you in shape, so the exercise and stuff goes. 1 to stay creative, so the designing and all that. 1 to build knowledge.
Check Kerry.
Mm.
Check Kerry's.
Reading,
Check Kerry's real quick. Check Kerry's. Go ahead though.
not working, right? Let's normalize not working as a hobby in and of itself, resting, right? And then 1 to grow your mindset. So those are the 5. 1 to make you money, 1 to keep you in shape, 1 to stay creative, 1 to build knowledge, and 1 to grow your mindset. So those are just some suggestions. If people are like, I don't know what to do for a hobby, you can kind of look into those 5 categories.
So, Tosh, are you recommending that we do all 5 or several of the 5?
Well,
what's the recommendation?
It seems like the recommendation is maybe 5 is all you need.
Yep.
Sometimes people try to do too much and then they don't do as much as they should. But I guess it's really covering all the areas of your life that make you feel whole. So finance is something real. We all talk about wanting to be financially secure, staying in shape. We all want to be healthy, creative. That helps us, kind of develop our personality and feel like we're contributing something. 1 to build knowledge. We're supposed to always increase in what we're learning. And then 1 to grow your mindset, which is what this podcast is about. Seeing different perspectives, understanding different views, elevating our thoughts. So
Talking about the conference, getting fired. Go ahead. Keep going.
Hey, let's celebrate Sister Jillian.
Yeah,
I love
that.
that. I
Yes.
love Sister Jillian. That is excellent.
Yes.
She graduated 5 times from college.
Yes,
Now on
that
her
is
6th, and
wonderful.
she's over 60. So that's
Man,
amazing.
that's wonderful.
That is beautiful. That's beautiful. And listen, let's do this really quick. Jillian, since you graduated 5 times, There are people who want to know those 5 things, those 5.
Yeah.
Can you just mention them again? And Jillian, if you will, can you just put them in the chat as we go through, because someone wants to go back through that. And it's not because I'm not testing your skills. I know you graduated part-time. I'm sure that you could do it, but I
He's
like
got to be
that.
a doctor by now.
I got, hey, dig it.
And,
Go ahead.
and let me jump in, because I saw a comment from Tiffany about traveling, and even though traveling can cost, if you travel with certain hacks, it can be a wise investment.
Oh,
so
yes.
you talk about building loyalty with the same airline or the same hotel. If you keep traveling over time, you'll be able to travel for free eventually.
Oh, wow.
So, there are some podcasters and people who blog about travel hacks. So I would encourage Tiffany to tap into those people and find out how to travel wisely so that you can start traveling for free.
Yeah. Now, since GP's talking, I want to know how his goal of writing that book is going.
Yeah, I've made a goal to block off 1 hour a day, just 1 hour to write.
Finish that book, baby.
Even if I'm not writing about the book.
Oh, okay.
I'm writing.
Developing
the discipline of just doing it.
All right.
I try to squeeze out something in that hour, but if I don't, I just write. I just sit there sometimes, but it's okay. But I'm showing up. And I believe that by showing up, that book will show out. Hey,
all right.
That's a GP moment.
Yeah, we love it.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. When he said, "Hey," it kind of caught me. GP is always sitting quiet in the corner till one of these statements are coming around.
His mind is much.
I like that. I like that, to write. I like that, Chuck. I see you, Chuck. I see, and don't tighten your lip, Chuck. Don't tighten your lip. No, don't tighten it. Come on. I know that when we were in the green room last week, you were talking about some of your goals you started already. Before the year came in. How are you doing with that, with habit forming?
Actually quite well. I try not to stack up, new challenges at the beginning of the year.
Right.
If I anticipate wanting to develop a new habit or maybe even in a hobby, I have to start before the new year. Do what I call a test run. Reason being is, I've come to the conclusion there's certain things that you plan for, you want to do, but you're not taking into account mitigating circumstances that will prohibit you from reaching those goals. So you've not taken into account your environment maybe, or, a situation you have at home, whatever. And you struggle because you say, I'm just not hitting my goal. And in some cases, it may be because you haven't given attention to environmental causes that would prohibit you from reaching your goal. So I think that's important. I think people need to say, okay, I'll make a goal or start a new habit. In my lifestyle, in my environment, is it achievable? Is it really achievable? Right. So, I think that's important. But for me, it's kind of an ongoing thing. So instead of New Year's resolutions, I will say I need to continue on this track. It's a new year, continue. And also just taking care not to stack up the to-dos. Because we can stack those up and then we get anxiety because we're not hitting them.
Right.
Read a New York Times article recently, and they actually have social scientists actually have a term for that. It's called overwhelm freeze.
Overwhelm freeze. Yeah. Okay. Like a brain freeze, but like you're so
overwhelm freeze. Yeah. You can stack up your to-dos and all your goals and you're not hitting them well or not at all. And you just
not even starting because you're frozen.
Yeah. You don't know where to start. There's so much to do. Yeah.
Chuck, you read a lot, don't you?
Yeah. Chuck reads those things that's not out in those
He's the real UpSet.
The underground stuff.
Well, I just like different perspectives, and and that if you talk about hobbies, that's one of my hobbies. I like to deep dive into stories, and I don't always take one perspective, because like for instance, I love news, so I listen to maybe 2 or 3 so-called mainstream media during the day, only to find out what one side is saying. And then through the day, I will tap into investigative reporters and things like that to get another side of the story. So I guess for a hobby, that's mine. I'm always saving articles, coming back to read them, checking out, cross-referencing stuff. So that's why when I do the lip thing, I guess, Pat knows that, he's got another perspective. But in terms of my personal lifestyle, I made it a goal for me a couple years ago, maybe 18 months ago, to really make a change in diet. And so, deep dived into studying, and I was like blown away to find out how damaging sugar was.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Some researchers have said that sugar is as deadly as cocaine.
Yeah, right.
And so I studied everything I could on sugar, and so I started down the track of just changing my my habits, my food habits.
Did you get skinny?
Like sometimes you ladies have bad hair days. Sometimes I have bad food days, but that's more the exception than the rule now. Wherein before, it was always bad food days. So when I started feeling the good results of those changes with diet and all, then it became second nature. So I wanted to bring that, to us, that term second nature. You've reached it when it becomes second nature. You don't have to think real hard about it and make lists, but it's just something you automatically do.
Habit.
So let me just give you a short story. Years ago, when Gwen Foster was a health director here at Allegheny's conference, and she had fitness camp and all. And so one day we were talking about doing some promo videos or whatever, and I personally asked her about this water thing. I said, Gwen, you're always telling us to drink 8 glasses of water. What's up with that? Because I don't drink water. I don't like water. It doesn't have a taste. I don't like it. And back then I was drinking primarily ice cold milk. I could chug down a glass of ice cold milk.
Really?
Yes. So instead of drinking water, I was drinking milk. So she said to me, okay, well, what you have to do is you have to start small, drinking more water every day, and you have to keep it up for 30 days. I said, for 30 days? She said, yes, 30 days. Because it's really not going to make any impact on you unless you do it for that long. I said, oh, okay. So I did it for like 2 weeks, and I was thoroughly disgusted. I said, I can't do 2 weeks. I said, Gwen, I feel no change. I go back to the milk. She said, well, you didn't do it long enough. You have to do it for 30 days. And I thought that was some, like, what, 30 days? Like something magical is going to happen on the 30th day, So I went back at it. It took me like 2 or 3 months to really get to the point where I could do straight 30 days. And I want to tell you, after those 30 days, my body went through a change. So it got to the point where my body was craving the water and not the milk.
Wow.
That's real.
Wow.
Something I thought would never happen to me. But now I drink water regularly, and I went back to her. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I didn't believe you. I didn't believe me, but it really did make a change. So
Chuck,
that situation, though, proved to me, and I think this is how God works with us. It proves to me that when you put your mind to it and you make a change, that you will see results. Results, and it will lead you to a second nature lifestyle hack where it's just, So I'm drinking water all the time now, and that's been some years, but it took a while to get there.
Chuck, I wanted to ask you a question as far as what you've just said, and I'm grateful for that because, wow, Chuck, as much as I'm a milk guy. I'm doing the best I can to get off of milk. People say milk don't have a taste, or whichever way.
Nasty taste.
But I could drink milk straight. I'd rather that than juice or something like that. So I'm going to follow that way. But I guess I wanted to ask you this question, and maybe it will help me along, because water to me is like drinking air, right? So
that's how I felt.
What habits? I'm looking for something concrete help me. What habit, did you bring around water with you? Did you keep one on your desk? Did you keep one in the car? What sort of
all
habits
the
did
above.
you have?
Did you add lemon? You know how just a little squeeze of
all
lemon,
of the above.
lime?
First I just started drinking any kind of water, tap water, bottled water, and then I started refining that process.
Pine Forge water?
That's the whole.
I started refining that process by looking into water. There are these guys, men and women that call sommeliers, and they evaluate water.
Right.
And water is not just water. It's a lot of things. It is a healthy thing, and you have to find healthy water. Now, if you have tap water, if that's the only water you have, or bottled water or purified water, well, fine, it's water.
Right.
But I went from just getting in the habit of liking water and drinking water to getting more refined waters that were healthier waters. But yes, Pat, I did. I kept one in the car, one in the office, one, because for me, unless it's there and I see it, I'm not, until my body. See, when that 30-day trip is when I had to keep the water around me all the time, all the time, just reminders. When I got over that hump, my body, I didn't have to keep it around. My body would say, "Oh, time to drink water. Time to drink. You're dry. You're getting a headache."
So, Chuck, did you try to drink something else when your body was craving water, and that didn't satisfy, or you just stayed with the water?
I stayed with the water. I just wasn't drinking enough.
Okay.
I just wasn't drinking enough.
Gotcha.
And I ran into people who discovered through drinking water. There was one gentleman, fellow technician on a job one time, and he had this excruciating headache, like migraine level headache, to the point where he couldn't do his job that day. And I said, "Wow." I said, "Can we get you something? Or maybe do you need an aspirin or whatever?" He said, "No, all I really need is some water. If you guys can just get me some water." So we went and got him this large thing of water. He drank this water down, like these 2 big, super liter. And in about 20 minutes, headache gone.
Yeah.
So I said, "Well, wait a minute." I said, "Dude, so what you're telling me is that you knew that this headache you got this headache because you were dehydrated."
Yeah. Can we move on?
Well, you asked the question.
No, Chuck, the reason why I'm saying that, and I'm saying that because people are listening, and people say I drink living water, alkaline water, the sugar out of his system. Our bodies talk to us. That's another thing. Our bodies talk to us and tell us. And you're right about that, Chuck. And I'm grateful to hear that there were some habits that you put in place. I don't want to just hear that you won. I don't want to just hear that you I want to hear what was the habits that came together. Do me a favor, GP, because I loved the way you have your thing set up. Look up the 23 days, if that thing is really true, and turn on your other camera while you do that. Natasha, what I'm asking you to do real quick.
The 21 days.
You know what? I had to add this because I may not come back in again because you could.
That's a GP. While you look up 23, yeah.
Look at 3 days of what?
You talking about
21 days?
23. It's 23 days, I think it is.
21, I think.
21.
Is it 21? Okay, GP.
I'm about the 23rd song.
In your lab.
Oh, okay.
Look it up. Go ahead. Chuck, come with yours because I'm going to Latasha for the laws of creating a good habit. Okay.
Yeah.
So
the other thing was not only the water thing, because the water thing I've been on for years and I've seen the benefits of that, but recently in the last 18 months, 2 years, it's my challenge to reduce ultra processed foods.
Oh boy.
And I know that's hurtful for a lot of people, and it's still hurtful for me. I have bad food days when I'm hungry, so I'll grab a cookie or cracker or whatever.
Right.
But I strongly recommend that our viewers and our listeners check out the damages of ultra processed food to your body. Because when I said that I was going to stop, eating a lot of sugar, take it down to a minimum, what I didn't realize was that I should have gotten rid of ultra processed foods because that's where the additional sugar is.
Right.
Right. So I hate to spoil it for you, Pat. I know, but
this is when I should. This is when I should have been hanging out with Tally I'm eating them chicken wings, but you're right about that. And the processed veggie meat, the process. Listen, this is another show as we're coming
What
along.
would I eat?
Yeah,
Oh my
right.
goodness.
No, and I do, Chuck, thank you for that, because I think it's important that we that I'm getting jealous, GP. Change your camera. That, I do understand it, because we really need to form some type of habit, some type of habits in order to move towards those goals. And another thing that I like that you said, Chuck, it didn't happen right away.
Yeah.
Oh no,
That's what I was gonna say. You gotta
the
be
weight
consistent.
loss
So we have
that
to
I
be
shared with you.
patient.
Yeah, the weight loss that I shared with you guys in the green room was over a period of about 18 months.
Wow.
How much weight did you lose with that, Chuck? That sounds, I mean, when you stop sugar, that's major.
About 15 pounds.
Yeah.
No, see, some people, only 15 pounds.
No,
but
I mean,
you know
15 pounds is
not
good.
significantly large, then that's
right.
yeah.
But the main thing is that 15 pounds off and stay off.
Right.
And that's without exercise, right? That's without
just a little bit more walking. I do a lot
walk.
more walking, but I have step goals and stuff like that. But yeah, just the cutting out the extra sugar. I'm not saying no sugar, because that's not being realistic. I mean, fructose is in fruit. I mean, that's sugar. Sugar is sugar.
Right.
It's just the ultra processed stuff.
Right.
And it's in everything. I mean, look in your cupboard and see how many grams of sugar.
I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. We're not.
No, you're right. If that's your goal.
And you know what? I had to do it like in a mathematical thing. If I find that males should have not more between maybe 35 and 50 grams of sugar per day. Okay, so I started doing the math. So if I drink one soda, I am over. Just that one soda over
for the whole year,
the whole day,
for that day, right?
Yeah. Right.
So think about it. All right, I drink a soda,
making choices,
and then I eat something else that's got sugar in it. By the end of the day, I'm around 150 to 200 grams of sugar.
Wow,
that's deadly.
Quickly,
wow.
Yeah,
that's deadly.
And
so so that was my, and it still is my goal to make it a habit all the time, every day. That's all. I don't want to get on the health kick.
No, it's fine.
People, you should be vegetarian.
But
that's not what I'm.
But Chuck,
you be whatever you want to be. You just make it a.
Chuck, but here's why I think it's great that you're talking about it from that angle, because when it comes down to our appetite sets our habits.
Mm-hmm.
So appetite. So when I look at Jeff, if you could pull up just real quickly, when he's talking about everything in moderation, I want to throw something out really quick. Should we then set our goals in moderation? Should we set? We were talking about the 5 different. Make your money, keep in shape, stay creative, build knowledge, grow your mindset. I like that 5. It's making me say to myself, doggone, Pat, you putting too much on your plate. There's too much.
Avoid that
overwhelm
freeze.
Overwhelm freeze. You're right about that. Hold on one second, GP. Before I come to Latasha on the laws of creating, GP, what did you find on 21, 23, 30? What's it?
That 21 days thing is BS.
Bachelors in science. You bachelors in science. and I heard that it was though, GP. But listen, what did you find?
It varies depending on your behaviors, your circumstance, your environment, the person. At the end of the day, everybody has to put in the work. Now, it can take between 2 months, it can take up to 66 days, or even longer. So there's no cookie cutter 21-day formula.
Beautiful. And I'm glad you said that. The bachelors of science or whatever. Because
Pastor GP.
No. And let me tell you why that's important. Because we get up in church and we pray about it. We talk about it. Oh, if you just do this for 21 days, it's all over. And then when we don't meet the criteria, we give up. Right. It's like, hey, this is crazy. I don't.
This didn't work. I'm going on the next thing. Yeah.
So thanks for that, Latasha. Real quick, hit us with the laws of creating a good habit.
Yeah, I know some of us, are listening to this. Us talking about this, and we're like, but how do I do? I want all these things, but how do I make it happen? And we referenced the book Atomic Habits by James Clear last weekend. He points out 4 laws for creating a good habit. And when you listen to these, you're like, wow, it just makes so much sense. One, make it obvious. Okay, so like drinking the water, since we were talking about drinking water. If you want the habit of drinking water, you have to have the water in front of you. You know what I mean? It has to be obvious. You have to see it so that it's obvious. The next one is make it attractive. So what about, what was your goal in wanting to drink the water? You wanted to feel better, so you have to make, or, think about why you wanted to do it, but also those cute little water bottles that, help you throughout the day. Oh, good job. You did it. That's could be a motivation for someone. It's attractive to pick up that water bottle. I see people on Zoom picking up their waters and turns, so make it attractive, make it easy. And we talked about carrying it with you, some people get their waters out, the 8 water bottles and line them up because that works for them. If they have it there, they'll drink it,
Can I jump in right here?
Sure.
You said make it easy. That's what a system does.
Yes. See, there you go.
If you have a goal, you have to have a system to help make it easy, to make that goal
very good,
attainable. Because I'll tell you, you can have all the conviction you want. Oh yeah, I need to lose weight. I need to lose my man boobs. Whatever it is. I don't have man boobs.
Excuse me, stop there. Could you
your actions that, please? Must match your convictions.
Yes, that's right.
And a system will help your actions to match your convictions.
Right. And another system,
and like that system.
This is brought up in that book too. Pairing it with something else that you already like. So say you already have the habit of reading your Sabbath school lesson every morning. Okay. Now you're going to say, I'm going to drink water while I read my Sabbath school.
There we go.
Pairing it with something you already do so that you could keep it being consistent. That's a great way to add new habits to an existing habit.
I'm going to walk and listen to a podcast about financial literacy.
Yes. So you're making it easy.
Or GP, you could walk and write at the same time.
Quiet.
Yeah. Dictation. The fourth thing is make it satisfying. I mean, obviously, there has to be something that we're carving into it that we're getting something from. You know what I mean? Like there has to be some win for you for completing that goal. So, I mean, and that's going to vary. That's not something I can tell you what's satisfying for me may not be satisfying for you. So you have to figure out what is going to make this goal satisfying. So I want to review the 4 and then we can, if people want to talk about them, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. And there's so much that goes into there. We're not delving into it deep, but that's a great book, by the way. I keep throwing it out there. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Someone recommended it to me. To me, it's life-changing. And it's for basic. I mean, it's not for those who are advanced. And no, it's for the common man who doesn't even know where to start, doesn't have one goal or one good habit.
And that book is powerful because it emphasizes the fact that you can get 1% better every day. So like small incremental growth. But 1 year from now, 2 years from now, you'll look back and you'll see the growth, but day to day, you don't really feel like you're accomplishing much.
Right.
But over time, that 1% gets compounded.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
There's two things that I found in my research in doing these 2 shows, but I also found that I was doing something I didn't realize I was doing in order to achieve certain things. And one thing I was doing, as this particular writer says, respect your rhythm. If some you can get 2 people to set out to do the same goal. One gets it, one doesn't. And you say, well, why is that? We're the same age, we're the same, whatever, and you can do it and I can't. Well, the rhythms aren't the same.
Hey, Chuck, can I hold you at that rhythm thing? Isn't that almost the same thing that GP was talking about when you're talking about systems?
Yes.
Your system has to work for you if it doesn't. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
And Chuck, the second thing I was going to say that was brought out in this particular writing was design your environment.
Yes.
So if a lot of times we don't achieve those goals, or we don't start those habits, is because we have not fully assessed our environment. Sometimes your environment is counterproductive.
Yeah.
So you have to design your environment to be conducive to moving, achieving your goals. I know as pastors, we have 3 pastors on here, and as well as I know, that when you guys sit down and you do a sermon, you have to be in an environmental supportive place.
Yep.
That is correct.
Yes.
So if you design your environment to be successful, your chances are greater to be successful than if you were not in your environment. So each person has to really assess, what is my environment? Do I have a high stress job? Do I have a lot of kids that are needy? Am I taking care of a elderly parent? You just have to assess, what is my rhythm? What is my daily life? Now, based on all of those factors, what can I realistically plan to do? So it's about respecting your rhythm and designing your environment.
Design your environment. I love that. Let's go. I'm sorry. I just wanted to flip something back because you said make it obvious, make it attractive. You said make it easy and make it satisfying.
Right.
Remember, some of the reasons why we're not reaching our goals is because we have bad habits. So there are 2 ways. And I know we have a little bit of time left. What I'd like to do is to look at those 4 things that you just said. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. And now let's flip it. How do you break the bad habit?
Right. So so if number 1 was to make it obvious for achieving it, to break it, make it invisible. So if you don't want to eat that processed sugar, if you don't want to eat that,
use something else. Use something else. Move
it out of your way so you won't see it.
Can we eat it first, and then after we eat it, then
invisible?
Yeah, because then it's gone, right?
So make it invisible, then make it unattractive. And sometimes that's a mental thing. Like you're telling yourself, when I eat this, I feel this way, or you have to rehearse what's bad about that habit. Make it difficult. And so, we know how to make things difficult because that's what the good habits that we are not doing are. And then make it unsatisfying. So those kind of all tie in together. Like you have to create an environment now for this bad habit to be less appealing, and be intentional about putting those steps in place.
Wow.
That on one of those, going back to the diet. I'm sorry, Pat. I just because this is up front for me. So
listen, I'm going to mute my
like since I've reduced my sugar intake, and I still need to reduce it because it's a gradual thing.
Yeah.
Because I've done that, when I do have an opportunity to eat a sugary item, let's say I'm out socially and someone makes this really great chocolate cake, because I go nuts over chocolate cake, right? It used to be that I could eat a slice or 2 at a sitting and feel fine. Now I cannot eat more than maybe 1 spoonful or of that cake, because I've been without a lot of sugar, my body starts saying, dude,
no more.
What are you doing?
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. Yeah.
Right. So, physically I get those signals. And like I said, I have good food days and bad food days, but I can tell you that what used to be the rule now has become the exception. And that's really what you want to achieve. What used to be the rule, because the rule is like every day, you don't have to think about it. It has become second nature, because you can have bad habits that become second nature.
Oh yeah.
But what you want to do is flip that. And I personally have seen the result in that. And that's when I can determine I have a bad food day. Trust me, at the end of the day, if I'm not feeling exactly the way I feel I should, if I go back, rewind the tape and look up what I ate that day,
that's
I'm the
tracking.
blame. I'm the blame.
Charles, there's a question. Are you using an app to track your sugar intake?
No, I just read labels now. I don't. I used to not read labels. I used to,
make it
go
easy.
shopping with my wife or my mother-in-law one time. I went shopping with mother-in-law one time. It was absolute horror because it was like looking at labels, and I said, "What? I'm used to you go shopping, you see some." Yeah, you just pull it out and reading the labels. Who cares, But now I read labels. So if there's something new that I'm going to try out, first thing I look at is sugar.
Right.
Second thing I look at is
sodium.
But no,
Right.
is it sugar and your carbs that you're looking at? Because the carbs become sugar. So you're looking at
It's
both
I
of them?
created the app.
We are not discussing nutrition today.
Right. No, but what and it's different for everybody, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I don't like this business. Somebody said, "Oh, well, you think I should be a vegetarian? Oh, I should be a whatever." Okay, I won't get into that discussion. All I say is eat real food.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Help me
as
with
it.
this, everybody. I know the time is coming down. That you're talking. Somebody said that you should eat what's on the edges of the grocery store and not what's
That's the
in
healthiest. Yeah,
or
that's
not
true.
in the
Yeah,
middle.
most of the
I think
processed
I've
foods
That's
in
where
the
heard
you
that.
middle.
find your
Wow.
vegetables.
So
You
yeah.
come around to
yeah.
your dairy. I mean, some people don't eat dairy, but
Right.
you know, even the non-dairy items are around the
On
perimeter.
the perimeter
That's
of
true.
it.
That's
That's
a
what
good
somebody
guide.
said. That's what somebody said.
Don't
Listen,
go in the
there's a
middle.
couple of things that I want. Go ahead, Marlena. You go ahead, jump in.
So yeah, so I wanted to say this because I've been told for a long time, whenever you are trying to achieve something, that it's good to have accountability.
Yeah.
We didn't speak a lot about that thus far. Well, today I know we did some last week, but accountability. And I'm thinking that accountability is also good when you're trying to dehabit something,
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
get rid of a bad thing. And so it's been helpful to me because you get to answer, for your activities, for what you've
Right.
done, your decisions. You have to look at it, and it makes you reflect on, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? So I just want to ask you guys, has accountability helped you anytime you were trying to achieve something, or if you were trying to stop something? Has that helped?
Yeah, I
Studies
choose
say it
the
does.
people who are not accountable enough.
No, better
No.
leave you alone, right?
No.
Well, I'll use I have an Apple Watch, and it tracks the rings. I do like to close my rings. That's a personal thing. But you can also invite friends and family, other Apple Watch users, and so they can see, I mean, if you have your settings that way, they can see when you work out, or they can see when your rings aren't closed. And I tell my friends that, if you see it's certain time at night and my rings aren't closed, check on me, or encourage me. Or if I finish a workout and they send me a text, good job, keep it going. It really does motivate you, because you're like, wow, somebody else is watching. If I don't do this, then,
Right. I have a similar thing on my Android watch.
Hold on.
I have health trackers on my Android watch, and it not only keeps track of my steps, but also my sleep patterns and so forth and so on. However, they built into the app that when I achieve my goal, the watch lights up and it's like fireworks and congratulations, you reached your goal. And then it'll say, want to go further, kind of thing. And I kind of look forward to it. I'm looking right now at my step tracker now, and I'm almost at my goal. So, a little bit more walking today, I'll be there. But those kinds of things will help the accountability. Also, if you're not into tech and all that, find somebody that's trying to reach a similar goal and just check on each other.
Yeah.
Or do it
so
together.
how's the walking doing, Marlena? Or how about that, whatever? And then you guys can check on each other on it.
And I can say, Tosh, I really want to lose 10 pounds. I need you to help me make sure that I exercise at least 30 minutes a day. Just make sure, check on me to make sure it's done. Get you an accountability partner.
You have a fellow Android user there.
Yeah. He's like, thank you, Chuck. I have an Android one too.
Android guy, we got to stick together here.
Listen, the only thing Apple does better is marketing. Let's move on.
I wanted to put up this comment, guys, because I think this is very important. Jeff Murray said to remember the importance of your annual physical exam from your primary care physician. Yeah, you pay for healthcare insurance, and the annual exams will detect abnormalities early, which is key to longevity. And so that's very key too, because sometimes we overlook that, or we self diagnose, and we think we're doing everything right when there could be issues going on, and other lifestyle changes that we're not currently doing that we need to address. So let's not neglect that. If that's a goal that people need to have, to go to your doctor, because I know there is a stereotype in our communities of color, where we do not go to
Especially
our
our
regular
men.
appointments. Yep.
Especially our men. That's why I'm
It's
glad to see
true.
that from
So,
Jeff. Especially
yes.
our
true.
So
men.
let's
It's true.
normalize getting those things done. Thank you for that reminder, Jeff.
Mhm.
It's true. It's true. Well, there's a couple of things that that I wanted to, and we really said this before, but I'm going to go through it. Number one, build a system for getting 1%. I think GP was saying this 1%.
James
Get
Clear said it.
1%. Yes, he did say
But
it.
GP,
But
you're
I'm
supposed to say that quote. What's that quote about the compound interest?
Ah,
You gotta write your stuff down.
Your
GP.
habit. Something about your habit.
I'll mention it later. Keep moving.
Okay.
Yeah. The other one was break your bad habits and stick to good ones. Avoid common mistakes. Number 3, most people make when changing habits. 4, overcome a lack of motivation and willpower.
Mm. That's important though, Pat. I feel like we gotta stay because we have to realize that with any goal, any habit, you have to do some work. Like I think we give up too easy, or we don't exercise enough discipline. You know, as we try to teach our children discipline, but it seems like when we become adults, we feel like we don't need discipline, but we do.
Right.
So I mean, you know, it's going to take some work. So it's good to
and Marlena was talking about accountability. It's okay for that person who's your accountability partner to motivate you, to celebrate you on, and it's coming up here on the little success that you have, the little wins, right? 1% better every day, right? We'll look at 1% and say we ain't get anywhere, but it all adds up to something. Develop a stronger identity and believe in yourself. Go ahead, GP. I think you're ready. Go ahead. I have 4 more, but go ahead.
Yeah. So habits are the compound interest of self-improvement.
Love that.
James Clear said this. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement.
I love it.
And so when you build a habit, you're investing in yourself, and that investment will continue to grow. And you'll be all the more thankful for it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have one to add to that.
Go ahead.
I'll let you do your 4. Well, it's the one I shared last week. I'll get it in. It'll be my final statement. And I won't do the funny lip thing. Okay.
I hear you said
Aristotle
go
said,
ahead.
We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit.
Woo!
Excellent.
And you want me to come on here and add 4 more to that?
Those are the closing, right?
I'll turn off my camera.
That's the finale right there.
That's a closer. That's a closer right there. We say in baseball. That's a closer right there.
Excellence is a habit. Mercy.
But you also said because Chuck said this. Design your environment. Chuck said that earlier. Design your environment. Make time for new habits. And make tiny, easy changes that's going to bring you big results. Get back on track if you're off course.
Yeah, don't give up.
That's number 9. Yep. Get back on track. And the last one says, importantly, how to put these ideas into practice in real life, not just thinking it, but that it actually happens. And I think you can find some of these things if you hashtag, help me, somebody hashtag Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits. Yeah, it's a great book. You can listen to audio. I mean, like we're talking about
while you're like audio book.
Yeah, it's a great audio book.
If you also Google or do some research on lifestyle habits and what the Bible says about health, there's a lot of good counsel in the Bible about good habits. I mean, it doesn't come out as good habits, but if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, is something you really do have to partner with God. You have to, some people are scared of that word covenant, but sometimes you just have to get on your knees and make a covenant and say, Lord, I just promise you, I'm going to take better care of myself. I have to.
He'll help. And he'll step in.
Chuck, when you were saying your discovery about sugar, and I've been noticing some things myself because, they tell you how your sugar goes right to your abdomen, right? Makes your abdomen large and then causes all these other organ diseases because that's where, all your organs are. But I heard a physician says that there are 3 things that causes cancer. Sugar.
Oh my goodness.
3.
Yes.
All right, we're going to pass this on now to
You know, see, Pat is
Scary.
worried about that box of Krispy
The-
Kreme he's got next to his bed.
You're
That's
not gonna be
okay.
able
You
to
can
eat it
eat
now.
them. Eat them
Not
tonight,
gonna be
Pat.
able to
I
eat
would
it
not
now.
do that to you. But I do know
and
that.
thank you, Marlena.
covenant-
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. No, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Sorry.
help
No, I was just
myself.
going to say, I know that covenants are important. If based on your relationship with the Lord, I had to learn the hard way. If you make a covenant, you better be serious.
Mhm.
You just can't whimsically say, "Oh, let me get a covenant with the Lord. I'm going to do this," and no, you don't want to back up on that. You have to be sure that you want to enter in that. And I believe that, for me, I just have to speak for me. And I think all of us are speaking for our own experiences. None of us are experts, on any of this stuff. We're just sharing what we've achieved and what we've lost out on. I mean, some of us have fallen flat on our face. I know I have several times on some things, but just to make it a daily habit, make it a daily thing, knowing your rhythm, all the things that we mentioned, and start slow. Don't be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chuck, I want to add too with covenant making. We can tell God, I'm weak.
Yeah.
I need
Be honest.
you to help me
Honest.
take away the desire, take away the taste. God
Right.
will meet us where we are,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I want to give a shout out to my friend Pastor Grissom. I'm with you on the sugar, buddy. I am trying. I was just about to say I got to throw away those cookies in my cabinet. I like to have just a little bit of sugar every day. Once I get that taste,
Right.
oh, that's good.
Marlena,
That's
don't use me as accountability because I'm gonna tell you, eat them
Oh,
all
man.
first. Eat them all
Right.
first. It's all
Well,
gone.
you know what?
Especially-
But you know what? On the sugar thing, and not to dwell on it, but sugar, it's only bad in excess.
Sure.
But that's where
No
our
one
problem
can-
is.
No
we
one
eat a
say
lot.
that. Oh, you can't have
Like,
any
that is the
sugar. I think
problem.
it's in excess.
Ice
You
cream
have it-
and cake,
Yeah,
They're like,
that's
we were
right.
clear
I
on that.
know.
And it's correct.
Yeah.
That's what killed AYS.
Oh,
Well,
start having don't bring any health programs to AYS. No, we're not doing that.
No, I'm saying that after dinner, everybody would eat ice cream and cake. Nobody coming back.
Oh.
Everybody be sleeping. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. But I like what Rodney Grisham said, and I'm glad if we were able to push people into this direction. He says, "Okay, I'm gonna make some goals and stick to it this year." LOL. That alone. Oh, thanks for the reminder. I actually forgot to set some personal goals this year.
Yeah.
Let's go. That's accountability.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see me post on Facebook what I'm doing. Sometimes I do that because there are others who are struggling the same way with something.
Right.
It doesn't have to necessarily be sugar, but it could be something else, and then it will keep you afloat the rest of the way because somebody's always messaging you, "Hey, are we going the proper way that we're supposed to be going?" So,
May I make my last statement?
Closing words.
It's three lines.
It depends, Chuck. It depends.
Listen, it's real simple, Pat.
Go ahead,
no problem.
Go ahead.
And my lips aren't being weird.
Right.
Okay. More rest,
Yes.
more water,
More sunshine,
and real food. That's it.
That's good.
Real food.
Because
That's
whatever
good.
goal you set, listen, if you are broken down, you can forget it.
Yeah.
More rest, more water, and real food, and you'll.
That's good.
It's a good start.
That's good. Good. That's a
Can I
good
add my
end.
closing words?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
GP.
So everybody has a choice to make. You have two options. You're either going to repeat 2022 or you're going to evolve from 2022. So you either repeat or evolve. It's your choice. And so there are people who think
it is our choice.
They think they are 50 years old, but they've only lived 1 year 50 times over.
Mercy.
You ain't living, you existing.
Right.
You keep repeating that same cycle year
Help
after
us, Lord.
year. So the
Okay,
choice
time
is
for the
yours.
outro. Time for the outro.
Listen to that altar call.
Are you going to repeat or are you going to evolve?
I'm gonna do like
All right,
my church
Red
members do.
That's it. No GP. If I had the organ now, matter of fact, I wouldn't even play. I wouldn't even play the hype one.
Yeah.
That's the altar call right there. GP,
put my
that's
hand
big.
down.
That's huge.
That's
That is
Oh.
really
huge.
good.
That's huge.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well,
Great job,
Natasha,
guys.
I'm gonna hand it over to you. Back to you right now, our producer, sugar eating,
Listen, you stay in your own lane. Don't come over in my box.
I got a hint
Leave
for
her
you.
cookies
Pat,
alone, dude.
Pat,
Go
there's a
ahead,
song.
G.
The song says, "Turn your eyes upon Jesus, look
Yes, sir.
full in his wonderful face, and the sugars of this earth will go strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace." There you go. May God bless you and keep
And you got to say it again with your holy shoes on, and that'll get 'em.
You guys are nuts.
Rochelle said,
no.
preach. Go ahead.
Yes,
Go
no, but great, guys. Great show. I learned so much from each of you and everything that you shared, and even from our viewing audience. Thank you for what you contributed in the comments, sharing about what you're doing. Okay, Jeff has the last comment.
Okay.
The
Jeff,
body
you could be on the
heals
show
itself
next week,
when
okay,
you
Jeff?
sleep.
Get some more
This
sleep.
shows him. That's right. And I heard that however many hours before midnight doubles. So it's better to go to bed earlier because you
I
get
better go to
like
bed
extra credit.
as soon as I get off this show. Amen. Amen.
Right.
Hey, but listen, I do want to say we asked Jillian about her degrees and she
Oh
posted
yes, and
them.
she did tell us. You're
want
right.
she did post it.
We want to, we don't want her to do work for nothing. So let's give her her.
Let's talk about that accountability.
accolades.
There we go.
Yep. Two
Yes,
masters.
Jillian.
She had 2
Congrats,
masters,
Sarah.
1 bachelor, 1 diploma in teaching, 1 certificate in accounting, and she just completed a course in immigration at Villanova University.
Very good.
So,
All right.
Wow.
Amen. 2
Bravo.
thumbs.
Congratulations.
Don't
She's now
stop making
over her
goals.
60. That's excellent.
Yes, congratulations.
She is
And
constantly evolving. Amen.
you know, guys, I'm feeling inspired. You know, sometimes when we have these feel good shows, I feel like
Sing, Tasha, sing.
no, not the kind of inspiration. I feel like, you know, as part of our close each day, or maybe even in the beginning, asking our audience to share a goal that they're doing well with. Just something I want us to have our accountability, even with our UpSet family, to see how we're doing with our goal setting. Because it's easy to start off strong in January.
Yep.
Right.
And then we let these we start going to that repeat mode GP instead of evolving. So we'll kind of be checking in. I'm just saying that to say we'll be checking in with you all about these habits and goals that we've talked about throughout the season 3. And speaking of season 3, we have our UpSet birthday coming up in February. Our birthday show will be February.
Did you see her neck? Y'all missed her neck.
Yeah,
though. You
yeah, I did
it?
see that. Yes, I did see that. I saw the neck. Right.
And we're excited because we want to be able to feature some of you. What we're asking you to do is to send us like 30-second, 60-second clips of why you watch the UpSet, what you enjoy about the UpSet,
And talk about your goals.
Talk about your goals. Talk about something you learned on the UpSet or something that made you upset about the UpSet. We'll take it all for our birthday. And so you can email those to upset@aecsda.com. And, you know, Dropbox and all that stuff, any file, we can work it out. Just let us know if you need instructions on how to send it if it's too large. So send those along. Also, we do want to do our UpSet letter. I keep forgetting what we're calling it, but I'm going to figure it out. If you have like a question.
Something digest.
UpSet digest. Yeah.
UpSet digest. Wasn't that it?
Yeah.
Okay. UpSet digest. I'm
UpSet
going to remember
digest,
that next time.
Don't write Tasha since she doesn't know it. Right UpSet.
Right UpSet. If there's like a question, maybe there's just a question you have, some situation you're in, and you just need a little guidance, a little, you know, some advice. Write us and we'll address your question. We will do it anonymously. We won't put your name out there unless you want us to, but and we'll share our opinion on it and even hear from some of our fellow listeners. So those are some of the things. And we do have our UpSet merch coming. We hope to have it to launch on our birthday. So we've heard your cry and we are working on providing that UpSet merch for you, mugs, caps, t-shirts. So look out for that. All right, I feel like I said a lot, but
all good.
Nah, I think we coined a phrase. Rodney did for us. If it's Sunday,
I know. You know, I'm really thinking that might be on the t-shirt, Rodney. I don't know. We've been looking for a good tagline, and this might be
Sunday.
it. We thank you for that, and thank you for everybody who's been watching. Okay. Thank you, Joel.
Oh, Joel, that is
That's
so
nice.
nice.
I
But
love
Joel,
that.
tell us that you didn't watch on Christmas night. Tell us that.
Watch the replay. It's okay. Watching has become a habit. Thank you. That's so great. And thank you all for being a part of this episode. We will be back here next Sunday because if it's Sunday, it's the UpSet podcast. So
Yeah,
we appreciate
sure
you
is.
tuning in. And hopefully we'll have Tally with us. We gotta,
Yeah,
wrangle him back in here. But thank you guys for another great show. We hope you have a great week, that you are setting
Wait a
realistic
minute, Joel
habits.
says I did.
What?
He did watch us on Christmas, night. Oh my
All right.
goodness.
All right, VIP. I mean
Look,
MVP.
Joe, we're
Send-
gonna give you a hand. That is so nice.
Send
of
your
you.
cash app, Joe. GP got you.
We're gonna have to send you a free gift, Joel. That's over.
That's
Over and
dedication
beyond.
right there. That's dedication. We
Mhm.
appreciate that. All right, guys, keep reaching those goals, keep setting those goals, and forming lasting habits. And we'll be praying that they will be accomplished. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Bye,
Peace.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys. Take care.